This video is about the 4 dumbest possible ideas in American existence, basically international. So we could get, and each idea is dumber than the next. But the last one is true. Right? So I'm going to start out with 4 concepts. And as I'm walking you through these concepts, I want you to really imagine, really put yourself there. Imagine you are a volunteer. You willingly come down to the St. Petersburg waterfront, North Shore Park, and you're going to participate. And it's for the common good. Now, I've already told you 4 ideas. The last one is spectacular. Absolutely. But that one is true, right? So, number 1, we're going to get, what do we got? There's around 300 million Americans, maybe 330 now. Or population of America, North America. So we'll need 1 representative for each million. So we'll get 300 people, go down to the park, and we will get 300 guns, handguns, and we're going to make a little cheap, we'll order it on Alibaba or something, sound detector that can pull the trigger when there's a bang, a loud noise, right? And remember, visualize it. So we all show up, we sign in or something, and you sign a living will or something in case of an accident. And then we're going to take these loaded guns. Most of the time we'll have the safety on, but when we're ready, we're going to get in a big circle, and we're going to put it, towards the side or the back of the next person in the circle. And we're all going to be like this. And then we're going to turn the safety off, and we're going to, sit there for an hour. And if anybody pulls the trigger on their gun, the sound sensor fires all the rest of the guns, right? So it's a suicide machine, right? Kills all 300 people instantly. So what we'll do, and if a car drives by and backfires or something, what are you going to do? So that could happen too, but you got to take chances sometimes. So we have our 300 volunteers. They're all in position. What we could do is probably want to do it kind of on an ongoing basis. So we should probably, when you get too tired, somebody will tap you out and we'll take turns doing this. We'll probably do this for, 50, 60 years if we want. So we'll do that. And then the next idea to really bring this point home, because this is not about adults per se. All the children of the world are, they all get wiped out if there's a war. So we'll have another ring of little kids, but we got to get them all about the same height. So the gun, and also maybe use lighter weight guns, 22s or something, because they might not be able to hold their arm up as long. And we'll have them in a little smaller circle on the inside. And we'll set them up the exact same way, right? So we'll have the kids in their little inner circle with their guns. All right, so, you're there, your kids, little Johnny or whoever, right? He's in a little circle. I guess police are surrounding the area, but I don't know if there's anything illegal about what we're doing. You have the right to have a weapon, right? So, and you're not intending to kill anybody or shoot anybody. There's probably an infraction in pointing the gun voluntarily. I don't know. So we'll do that, and then we're going to be like, all right, so there was 4. The kids in the inside, the outer ring. Oh, right. Mutually self-assured destruction. So the United States and Russia, and now multiple other powers, have decided in their infinite wisdom to crank up this thing called an arms race. We started, I'll be 52 in a week. So I made it. Hey, at least I got 52 years before a nuclear holocaust. But anyway, so let's say that, well, they did it, right? When 50, 60 years old, I don't know how old the oldest nuke is. So we have, I'll have to get the real numbers, but I think it's like 3,800 on active alert. We used to have 20,000. I mean, obviously, you really only need one, right? I mean, you want to start. You think Washington D.C. would? Anyway, point is, so here's the idea: we're going to point all these weapons at each other, and if anybody steps out of line, the old Soviet Union, or the United States, we launch. And what the scientists tell us is that actually, even if only one side launches, there's so many frickin' nukes that the devastation of nuclear winter and everything is just, it might not wipe out mankind, but probably, right? And it'll be pretty fucking horrible, right? So, but there's no way of making that real, right? I mean, we built it. It exists. Thousands and thousands. I mean, I just watched a movie about the Cold War, The Courier, right? Not bad, pretty good movie. And they were, when the nukes were fresh, people were more afraid, were like, more aware. Now they're like, whatever, but we have the exact same threat. All the nukes are still there. Nothing's been changed. We're at the brink of nuclear annihilation at any moment, right? Remember the beginning of Trump's term and his nuclear football? The guy springs an aneurysm and is like, yeah, fuck it, launch. I mean, do you really? Okay, back to our example. So we're on number 3. This idea of mutually self-assured destruction is completely fucking idiotic. Not only that, even if everybody in Russia and everybody in the United States love this fucking retarded game, what about the Maldives? What about Australia? What about, why should all these, what about the entire continent of Africa? Why should those people suffer for our idiocy, right? Now, what is the 4th dumbest thing? Now, dumber than standing in a circle. Remember, if our circle goes off, somebody pulls one trigger, all 300 people die instantly, and all the kids inside, the 300 kids, that's 600 people. 600 St. Petersburg residents wiped out like that. And what does that compare to nuclear war? Absolutely fucking nothing. Not even a drop in the bucket. It'll have to be a drop in the monster water tank. So, the 4th absolutely dumbest motherfucking thing you could possibly do is after 60 years of polishing this war machine, the suicide switch, we're going to upgrade the motherfucker. We're going to spend over $1 trillion, and we got to bring them all up to 2020 specs, right? We are going to upgrade the fucking universal suicide machine. And it's going to cost you, right? Now, don't worry about the pandemic. Don't worry about medical research. Don't worry about poor people. Don't worry about the guy I saw on the street, sleeping on the sidewalk, his stomach bandaged up, probably just released from the hospital. I mean, don't worry about him, because we've got a suicide fucking machine that we have to do some upgrades to. All right? So, the next thing I'm going to get into is, what does it cost? Right now, roughly, it is 10% of the tax. So when you send Uncle Sam $1, 10 cents of that dollar goes to the suicide machine, right? So if you are like most workers and you work $2,000 a year, let's say your pay sucks, so you get $10 an hour, you're making $20,000 a year, and 10% of that goes to, 10% of your taxes goes to the nuclear weapons, 10%. So let's say you pay, what do you pay when you make 20 grand? 4 grand maybe? We could look this up, but let's say you pay, let's say whatever you make, let's say you make 4 grand in taxes. I was gonna convert it to hours. So then 10% of that, $400, goes to the nukes, straight to nukes. Send to nukes, nukes please, nukes please. All right, so that's your 400 going to the nukes, which is, if you're making $10 an hour, right? That is obviously 40 hours, right? So 1 week. So you go to work 1 week out of every year so that Uncle Sam can afford to upgrade all the nukes in America. Money well spent, right? Now, if it works, your tax money, right? Now, you know this goes to, I don't know, Honeywell and Raytheon and all the big boys, right? So if your money is carefully bid out and spent, right? Remember the old $100 toilet seats or $100 hammers? But if they do a good job, if these defense contractors do a good job, every dime on this upgrade will make sure that every single fucking missile in the silo works perfectly, right? So if the money is spent well and the contractors are real serious, and now my aunt's husband, who recently passed of Parkinson's, God rest his soul, he was working on inspecting the gyroscope on nuclear warheads or something, quality control. Anyway, point is, you know, we're all involved in this machine, right? So the point is, so over $1 trillion, universal suicide machine upgrade. If they do a good job, it ensures they all work, and we will all definitely be dead. Yay! Now, if we get ripped off, if they're just pretending to do a good job on the nukes and none of it works, then we've been working 1 week out of every year to keep all the engineers and contractors and all the defense things. I mean, not for all the projects. This is just for the nuke part, right? The 10% of the nuclear budget, or we'll have to straighten that out. But maybe they fucked up. Maybe they just cheated, took all the money. We're paying all these people to go to work, watch TV, and none of the nukes will work. This is the only time when you really want your government spending to be done horribly, even worse than the idea of spending it on this. Now, what is the alternative? You're like, oh, what are we going to do? What else could we do? I mean, you know, mutually self-just, you know, personally, I think it's all a fucking load of crap. But, I mean, I don't know. You got $1 trillion. Maybe you could come up with, for $1 trillion, you could have a contest for world peace. Well, how can we spend our $1 trillion in a better way than upgrading the nukes? Maybe you can cut half, you only do half the nukes. Maybe we can just forget the nukes. Maybe we can do a worldwide poll using the tools we build as a group to say who wants to spend their tax money on upgrading, maintaining, or improving the suicide machine of humanity. Raise your hand. And we'll do the opposite. Who wants to stop this idiotic fucking spending immediately? Switch to safety-only spending as we dismantle, slow down, stop. But for damn sure, do not continue with the upgrades and making new ones. All right? So if we can get enough people everywhere in the world, that would mean we would basically outvote our governments. The government would say, no, I was elected. It's like, no, buddy, no. 80% of the world got on their fucking smartphone and said, fuck no, okay? And we recorded it, and we have proof, and bang. So how fast can you start taking those nukes apart, right? I mean, it's a gazillion jobs in taking that infrastructure apart. Really, all you need is like ones, you don't need any nukes. It's stupid. But if we do keep some for a while, just a couple of submarines or some retarded shit. Anyway, that's my nuclear weapons talk. I really thought the visualization thing, I don't know if here's the moral question. It is so outrageously stupid, but we could do it. We could be like, I don't think I would do the sound sensor. We could probably get a few people killed just by accident with 300 amateurs going down there and pointing guns at each other. But, you know, I mean, it's, if you really, it's so horrible, right? And look at these mass murders and you think, oh, those poor people and how horrible that is. And then, but, you know, it used to be like once a week we drop a bomb on a wedding. We're still bombing the shit out of Afghanistan. Iraq is still a total, we killed like 1 million people. We killed or caused to die 1 million people. That's after our foreign policy supported Saddam Hussein from like cradle to grave, for fuck's sake. I mean, so here's my point. The overall super point is human insanity knows no bounds. So if you do not believe that they're going to run the ship down the river right over the waterfall, that nobody will go up to the captain, tap him on the shoulder and say, Captain, turn the boat around, full gas. There's a waterfall coming up and we're all going to die. And